All right, I am here with Mr. Russell Parr of the Russ Parr Morning Show on 93.9 WKYS, and we are talking about his career in radio, how he's been able to have the staying power that he's had, and the things that have motivated him and kept him on track. So, tell us a little bit.
Well, basically, I started so many years ago, and I worked just crazy hours in radio. I started off in Los Banos, California, which was a radio station that I worked once a week at, and had to literally take two wires and twist them together to turn on the transmitter. And I learned how to sell my show, get advertising for it, and the whole nine. And I was in junior college at the time, Merced Junior College. And I decided I really wanted to be in entertainment, a long time ago, before all that happened. We were in the Air Force, so we always bounced around from place to place, so you really didn't make a lot of friends, so you always wound up kind of entertaining yourself. And I think that was the training ground for me, as my sister and I and my brother, we always would entertain each other, and when we didn't have each other, we entertained ourselves. So I was always, in a position of like, okay, what can I do to amuse myself? And of course, not being mentally balanced, I created a fictional person named Joe, and my mom and my dad actually accepted Joe. Actually would speak to Joe. Russ, is Joe gonna eat his spaghetti too? I'm like, okay, yeah. But so I was dealing with delusional behavior at a very young age. But to go back to where I was going, I wound up going to Cal State University Northridge, where I received a degree in radio, television, and film, and started working for ABC TV. And it was a production services director. I basically kept charge of how much wood was used to build a set and those kind of things, kept track of those items. So it wasn't really a prestigious job. So then what I did is I moved on and went to work for KBC Radio, which is part of the ABC family, where I was an audio engineer, where I learned how to push buttons. See, there's a lot of people in radio that do what I do. They don't run their own board, and I do, because that's all I've always done that. And radio is about timing for me. Comedic timing, so I know when they get in and get out on a joke or whatever. But I worked there for a number of years, worked ungodly hours, and left there and started working for the first 24-hour all-hip-hop radio station, which was 1580 K-Day, where I created certain characters that we did on the radio that eventually became a recording artist. It was recording artist Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters, and had a couple of records that were hits, and I took the money, instead of buying gold chains and Cadillacs, and bought a condo. So I'm always constantly, when I see these young heads come in here and they got a hit record, I say, what you doing with your money? And I know most of it's around the neck. And I just want to let them know that this is all very fleeting, it's all very temporary, and you should have a backup plan. So that was really kind of important to me. Making sure, and I was lucky I had a father that was very attentive in making sure that I knew what I needed to do with money and the whole nine. A lot of people didn't have that luxury. So I think that really helped me quite a bit. But one of the things that I learned in the business is that, in any business, is that it's a very small group of people that you deal with. And you can burn bridges very easily. And I've really tried throughout my career not to burn bridges. As I got older and more advanced into my career, you take less and less crap, But where I'm at right now is that I try to teach, especially the people I work with, that, burning bridges can really haunt you. It's easier to leave somebody's presence with a positive thought and a good feeling about you, as opposed to, hey, F you, appreciate what you said, because down the road you may need them again. You may need them for a job recommendation, or they may have a job for you and don't want to give it to you because they don't like your attitude. So, it's part of playing the game. I kind of branched out, and, I was acting and doing stand-up comedy for years, and I wasn't really good at anything. I did a lot of things, wasn't really good at anything. I was good at radio. I really enjoy doing radio. I've been at Radio 1 for like 14 and a half years, and that is pretty unheard of for a morning show. Most good morning shows last 3.5 to 5 years.
Right, I was going to ask, how do you create staying power, and how do you stay relevant in a business that...
I think the big thing is your attitude, and avoid ego making decisions for you. There's a lot of people that I've seen that were just so talented, that they allowed, you know, the people hyping them and the egos to really, you know, mess them up.
And how do you suggest people foster their talents, or if they have a talent that's in them and they don't really know how to unleash it? What things did you do to bring out the talent that you know you had within you?
Well, I think what it was is I constantly practiced it. You know, I constantly used it on other people, even when they didn't know it. Even to this day, I listen to the air checks of my show to see what I did wrong and what I could have done better. Because it's always a learning process. I think, you know, there's a lot of people that have been in the business as long as I have. You know, they got such a big ego where, oh, I can't listen to you. I can't learn from somebody that's younger than me. And that's not me. I mean, I listen to everybody that will, you know, basically maybe give me another idea that will help me, you know, go to another level. But I think the big thing is that you really need to put yourself out there and constantly try your stuff out on people. You know, sometimes you got to work for free. Sometimes you got to go to a market that might be in Tupelo, Mississippi or somewhere and learn your craft. Practice makes perfect. And don't think that somebody owes you something. There's no such thing as seniority in the entertainment business. Either you got the talent or you don't. And there's a lot of people that have, you know, especially a lot of African Americans just have natural ability, natural talent. And the only thing that's stopping them is their attitude. You know, there's some people I've run into, they feel like they're owed something. You know, when in reality, you got to earn something. And unless you're willing to put in the work to earn something, you're going to be left behind.
And what about, you know, a lot of people fall into this category. You go to school, you get your degree in biology, you go work at the lab, and you're like...
That ain't me.
Right. What suggestions do you have for people who want to break into an industry that they have absolutely no training or...
Well, I find that, you know, I don't know what the statistics are, but a lot of my friends that have degrees in other fields are working in other fields. And you cannot just sit up and say, this is what I'm going to be and that's the only thing I'm going to be. You can't do that. You got to be able to do more than one thing. And, you know, that's why when I went to school, yeah, I got a degree in radio, television, and film, but I also learned how to, you know, be a salesman. I also learned how to bag groceries. And, you know, it's like you might want to learn how to do hair, just something to have to be able to fall back on. I think we rely too much on, like, I have a degree in this. And, you know, that business may fizzle up. You know, there are a lot of people that got into, you know, computer 101 and everything they learned is outdated 30 days later.
Right.
So you have to be able to adapt and roll with the changes that society keeps on, because we're talking about technology. You know, you're holding a camera in my face, was actually recording me. You know, so the bottom line is that we have to be able to adapt to, you know, all the changes that are happening in our society.
And then last question is about you, your movie. I know you have something like a business, and I wanted to know, like, what other things do you have lined up in the future? Do you need any extras? If you need me, maybe like walk by.
We always do, but you know, it's just, you know, people should always, you know, network themselves. You have a free internet where you can constantly network yourself and shoot me, hey Russ, don't forget about me. You know, and that's
about me.
The last person that I see, hey, don't forget about me. They're the first person I call.
Right.
You know, you just got to listen and hear, okay, he's doing another movie. I got a movie out called Something Like a Business, which was designed to go straight to DVD. It was designed to be a spoof.
Now, is there a benefit in doing that?
I think about you take some criticism from people that think that, oh, everything's got to be very serious, and you know, and how dare you, you're holding us back, and so on and so forth. I'm from a different school that comedy's comedy. You know, you're gonna laugh. People need to laugh right now. There's a lot of people out of work. People trying to figure out how to make ends meet. You know, and right now we can laugh at ourselves.
Right.
You know, and laugh at others. I mean, and that's what that movie's all about. I do have eclectic movies. I just finished another one called 35 and Ticking, which stars Tamala Jones and Hilary Parker and Kevin Hart. And, there's a lot of people in it, and it deals with, you know, a midlife crisis when people are hit the age 35. They think, I need to have a baby, I need to be married, I need this and that. And that's what that movie's about. And it's kind of an eclectic film that shows that, hey, Russ can make a movie and he can deal with issues that are of a serious nature. So, you know, I really love filmmaking, and I mean, I expressed everything I can on the radio, and I'll keep doing radio until they fire me, you know, and that's eventually going to happen. You know, they're going to walk me out the door. I know how the business works.